I'd like to introduce Laurel, McCoy, and Matt Beitscher, who will be presenting on GIS mutual aid, leveraging agency-wide expertise to better serve core partners.
Hi, my name is Laurel McCoy, and I'm with WFO Omaha and Valley, and I'm here with Matt Beitscher from WFO St. Louis. We're both members of the NWS Geospatial Intelligence Work Group, which is just a national field initiative of people of GIS experts, and we're here to talk today about our new-ish GIS mutual aid initiative. And so let me, come on. There we go. So motivation. So objective one in the Central Region Roadmap is to embrace the mutual aid as a process to maximize capacity for Central Region offices and to help those offices prioritize local needs. And so this really ties in well to objective one in the Central Region Roadmap as we work to essentially help offices during impactful weather by developing GIS solutions to support their mission during high impact weather to help them serve their deep core partners. And so what we do is we develop new GIS tools, maps, products, and services to help these offices, whether they be like precipitation, wind maps after an event, during an event, and feature layers for them to share on ArcGIS online. Or we've helped develop story maps, such as this one from December 10th, 11th, from the 2021 tornado outbreak. One of the things that we can do as a cross-regional group of field forecasters is we can work together and coordinate something such as this story map for the December 10th, 11th, 2021 outbreak that covered so much area in several WFOs, especially across two different regions. And this was the Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas tornado outbreak, I believe. So we can help to coordinate that and develop a truly collaborative product for partners and for the public to document these types of events. We also our goal is to promote the usage and leveraging of GIS technologies to further the NWS mission. We can create new tools and products that our partners that meet our partners' needs. And we also provide opportunities for younger GIS experts, or maybe not younger, but newer GIS experts to develop their skills. People who may just have an interest in GIS, we can help get these people the training that they need and help them with an avenue to practice their skills in a collaborative environment to help serve these offices during high impact weather. So we are a group comprised of ever-growing voluntary field-led group of GIS subject matter experts in the NWS. Each individual has support to participate from their line offices. And it's a truly great opportunity to practice your skills and to help develop your skills in a collaborative environment. So some of the things that we've created, here's a map from Hurricane Ian that we created for the Florida offices. We have on the left the total rainfall from the event, and on the right the max wind speeds observed. You can see over 100 miles an hour down near Port Charles and Cape Coral. One of the things we were able to do here is Osceola County came to the office or contacted the office and wanted this information in greater detail so that they could create their own precipitation map locally. And so that's here on the right what they created. They created a more granular map that meted their needs. So we were able to create this for them and then meet one of their partners' needs here. And then more examples from 2022. Hurricane Nicole, we did the same thing for Hurricane Nicole. We've done this for a few hurricanes now, I think going back to 2021, and are able to help during the event with since they can last 2 or 3 days, we can do daily amounts as well as a storm total to help during the event as well. And then on the right, we also did a storm total map for the large ice storm at the end of January of 2023, early February, that went across much of southern region. I think there was snow on the north side, and then a lot of ice all the way from Little Rock down to El Paso, just east of El Paso. And we were able to create a FEMA region graphic to help share the large extent of the ice storm, as well as go in, and we worked locally with the offices individually to make sure that the amounts and the extent were correct, and to make sure we had an accurate picture for these offices as well as a larger picture for the region. And we haven't just been working with Southern region. Here in the bottom right, we have the snowfall total map that we created. The FEMA liaison in Eastern region reached out and wanted the snowfall totals from the big Buffalo snowstorm, lake effect snow event last November, when they got over 70 inches of snow. And so we were able to create that for them, not just here as a gazpacho image, but as a layer, so that they could share that with their FEMA partners as well. And so we do all seasons, whatever you need. And it's not just these precipitation maps. We've also helped here with Shreveport. They had a big tornado outbreak that they were conducting a lot of surveys, and they had a lot of ground to cover, and we were able to help support them by doing satellite analysis, sentinel analysis, to determine possible new tornado tracks that they need to investigate while they were busy out in the field. So we have a testimonial from Charlie Woodrum, the former WCM at Shreveport, who's going to be the new MIC in Pueblo, I believe. With nearly 150 miles to survey after the November 4th, 2022 tornado outbreak, teams spent 5 days surveying damage and still couldn't get to every location by ground or air in Shreveport, CWA. The GIS mutual aid team was instrumental in helping us connect our long tracks in unreachable areas using their satellite differencing technique. Our office simply didn't have the expertise or bandwidth to do this, and the team got on several Google Meets with us to analyze it together. It was truly mutual aid at its finest. So that's from Charlie Woodrum there, talking about our satellite detection of tornado tracks that we did for them and really helped them out. So that's some of what we can do as a team, and I'm going to pass it over to Matt, but we'll take a second. Does anyone have any questions through this first part of the presentation? All right, not hearing any questions. I'm going to pass it over to Matt.
All right, thank you very much, Laurel. Hi, everybody. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the workflow and the process that we filter these mutual aid requests at the moment. I do want to preface all of this with this process is being revised and updated as we grow in scale and incorporate the rocks in these mutual aid requests, especially some of the ones that can go on for a longer period of time, like the story map collaboration, when you have multiple offices collaborating on a story map. Those can draw on for several weeks. So it's important to involve the ROC in all of these requests so that they're aware of all this mutual aid that's going on and can facilitate and provide guidance wherever necessary, not just here in Central Region, but across the Weather Service. So those discussions are happening above us, and I can't speak to any of the specifics of how this will shake out, but it should be in a similar fashion to what we've got going on right now in terms of the request process. So way it works right now is a request comes in via Google form. It's a pretty simple Google form. It is detailed. It does ask what you need, where you need it, the spatial extent, the specific parameters that you might need plotted, what region you're in, what office you're serving. And the request could be anything for data, maps, analyses, scripts, or any other GIS product or service. And then we'll sort of gauge based on our current available expertise and the sort of bandwidth of our own team, what we're able to facilitate and what we're able to accommodate. So our team then gets all that information from a trigger that happens once the form is filled out, and excuse me, a lead is selected, and we have a couple of other people who fall under the lead for the project. And then initial communication is established via email from the GIW, the Geospatial Intelligence Work Group, to the requester, and then essentially at that point the lead will divide the workload among the team members. We sort of set up our sub team there, and we start using our GIS mutual aid Google chat room, which is essentially, just as it is, a chat room that we can communicate with the requester in and provide updates on the product, provide the actual links to the product. And these products they are important in a near real-time basis, especially if you're providing updates on prolonged winter or weather events like major winter storms, or in Southern regions case, hurricanes have been really the popular weather event to ask for this sort of mutual aid. So it is important for us to get this data out in a timely manner and in a legible format, something standardized that we can give to FEMA, or we can give to other government entities or core partners that we're interacting with in the midst of a weather event. So it's important for us to be in constant contact with those mutual aid requesters. And then the request is carried out, and we keep tabs on the chat room and make sure that the questions are being answered, the work is being done, and that most importantly, that the requester's needs are being met. And Laurel, if you wouldn't mind hitting on to the next slide there. Thank you. And then we'll try to gather some feedback once all of that is done, once we actually do have the products done or the services provided to the requester, and then we're archiving the request through our internal tracking system. And that feedback is super helpful to us to further refine this process. We also do internal sort of short of an after action review, but sort of a check on ourselves to see how things went, what could have gone better. It's sort of why we establish a lead, so that they can sort of take a step back and look at things from a procedural perspective and a technical perspective, and say, okay, we probably could have been a little bit quicker with this, or we didn't necessarily need this step in the process, and we can further refine this process and ultimately provide better service to the rest of the agency. And it does really speak, like Laurel was talking about earlier, the overall spirit of that first objective of the roadmap is that we have tons of expertise on various topics and various important subject matters that are spread throughout not only our region, but throughout the Weather Service. So we should be able to be tapping into that expertise. And this is just one of the many examples. I know there are certainly tons of examples of mutual aid going on in the Weather Service, and it's very encouraging to see them become more formalized. This is just another example in a realm that has so far been really localized. If you have a local GIS focal point, or if you have somebody that at an office that's a GIS focal point is good at this stuff, you can tap on their resources. But this is sort of exposing that expertise to a broader community, so that we're all serving our partners better and providing better services at the end of the day. Laurel, you can go up to that last slide there, or that second to last slide. Thank you. So just to sum everything up, the goal of this work is to support the preparation, mitigation, response, and recovery phases of the high impact weather events at offices and the core partners that we serve. It's, you know, we started off by just doing precipitation analysis, and then we had gone on to wind speed and all this other stuff. We can, you know, with the expertise available, we can really do just about any type, a very large portion of the analysis that's capable with our current GIS software available to us. So no request is too big or too small. You know, and that's really where it comes to the team as it currently stands to either approve or deny the request, because sometimes we just don't have the personnel available, or we don't have the expertise available to do it. But it's, you know, the goal is to become something nationally recognized, and we're well on our way to doing that. But it is a long process, so we make sure we've checked all our boxes and make sure that we've thought of all the contingencies and other scenarios that might go wrong. Something similar to MAS or Savvy. And then we're looking to build and organize a list of subject matter experts to support this effort. It's totally up to them if they want to participate, but we want to build that expertise, and we want to figure out who in the Weather Service actually does have this expertise. And then we're also open to more ideas for streamlining the process and interconnecting with other national programs. I mentioned also making sure that the rocks are interwoven in this process, because without their ability to provide support and structure to large scale requests that involve multiple offices, this can get unwieldy very quickly. So I think that's just about it. We were hoping at the end here to have a discussion if you all have ideas about how we might be able to help, or how this group or how this service might be able to help your office during impactful weather or directly after impactful weather. And also, if you have any forecasters or anybody, not just forecasters, who have GIS expertise and are interested in helping with this initiative, you can reach out to Laurel or myself. We're not the leads of this overall project, but we are a few of the Central Region representatives on the mutual aid team here. So I'll pause and thank you all for your time. This was a relatively short presentation, but we wanted to highlight the work being done on the mutual aid side of things and from a GIS perspective, and see if we could come up with some other come up with a discussion on how our service might be helpful to folks here in the region. So yeah, I'll stop here and ask if anybody has any questions or any comments about the stuff that we've shown. And thank you all for your time.
Yes, thanks, Laurel and Matt, for your overview of the GIS mutual aid. If you have any questions, please raise your hand or put it in the chat.
Sorry. Clifford asked, is there a link to the GIS mutual aid site? Yes, we do have it somewhere. Give me 1 second. Let me find that for you. In the meantime, Laurel has a couple of examples that she might of the data that we've been able to create, the sort of more interactive parts of it. That we showed a lot of static images, but there are also some really nice feature layers that we came up with, and this story map collection as well. From the this is really an extreme example of the mutual aid. This took quite a bit of time. This is where making sure that the rocks are interwoven in the discussion and in the actual procurement of mutual aid is super important, because this was a heavy lift for sure. Things like this, the shorter term requests, the one-off requests for a couple of hours worth of data or maximum wind speeds or snowfall analyses, those are a lot easier to churn out in a quick sense and get done rather quickly.
Yeah, as Matt said, we can get the precipitation and max wind graphics out pretty quickly. This was a bigger, more collaborative effort that took some time, but as you can see, it crossed regions, and that can sometimes make things difficult. So just being able to reach out and get data and information from all these different offices and collect it into one place, into one story map that really truly tells the story of an event like this tornado outbreak that happened on December 10th and 11th in 2021. We went through and created a meteorological analysis, messaging through that event from several different offices, and then thoughts for those affected. So this was a really great effort that I think Matt spearheaded.
Originally it was another Amanda Wagner, who is a GIS rock star, and she unfortunately left the agency, but fortunately enough to go to grad school. So when she left, I took over bringing this across the finish line just in time for the 1-year anniversary of the outbreak. So it was again, it's a heavy lift for folks that have GIS experience, for those who do not have GIS experience, that were sort of tasked with this, and especially with a lot of offices that may either don't have the time or don't have the expertise. This is a big undertaking, but it's important to utilize the GIS expertise that we have to tell stories like this, and to bring a fuller, more dynamic lens to such a historic outbreak.
So yeah, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Laurel.
Oh, I was just gonna move forward. So if you have anything else to say on this,
no. If you're interested in looking for that outbreak, that story map collection, I can certainly get you the link to that as well. It should be on the actually, yeah, Laurel, you can just chat in. There you go. That's easy enough. So yeah, it's a collection of all these different story maps there, and that's again an extreme example, and not something that we would probably do every single day, but it's something that is a sort of a highlight of mutual aid, especially when it involves multiple offices.
Yeah. And then, so we also publish graphics to ArcGIS Online for the use within the agency, or sharing to local partners, or to our core partners. Let me bring this over here. So we have several different offices that we've served, and different let me make sure. Okay. And different maps that we've created. We create regional maps as well as local maps for local offices. Let me find one of these. Okay, so we'll create these tile layers of rainfall, and then overlay the amounts on top of that, so that we can create a more a rainfall graphic. This, I believe, was from Nicole, if I'm correct, back in November. And here is the corresponding wind map that we created. And so these are just layers that then can either be downloaded and used in ArcMap, ArcPro, for whatever reason, or if you want to take the data and share it, like we did with Osceola County, share it with one of your partners, and that way they can incorporate that into their documentation, or into a greater detail just for their county. They can certainly do that.
Yeah, FEMA and local partners have been sort of our bread and butter with this. It's been a lot of them asking for specific types of data on to the local office, and then the local office sort of being overwhelmed with the amount of work that they have to do to keep up the forecast and messaging of a pretty not historic event, but an impactful event. So that's where we would step in to sort of help that request, because those requests are, while they seem relatively small, getting that data to FEMA is really important for their response and their monitoring of the situation, and then the process of requesting aid and the disaster declarations, which typically the process starts pretty soon after the event ends.
Yes. And so we also have this one here. This is just Region 6, FEMA Region 6, for the ice storm that occurred last year or last February. And this actually took quite a bit of time because, as you can imagine, ice reports are not the easiest to gather. You more get impacts from areas, not as much amounts. So what we were able to do here was collect data from weather stations and reports from PNSs sent out across southern region, and then we worked with the individual local offices to kind of try and get a gauge on how much fell in some of these areas that didn't have amounts reported, but there were impacts reported. So we were able to go through and just kind of with a fine-tooth comb make sure that it was an accurate representation, and then we're able to share it with our FEMA partners as well as with the local offices for them to share on social media. There was snow on the north side of this, so we also created snow graphics from this event, but the ice was a much bigger beast, especially across Texas and Arkansas, where they had the greatest impacts from this event. And so these are just a few examples of what we can do. This initiative has been going on for a couple of years now, but we're still kind of really getting it off the ground, letting people know that we exist and that we're here to help in any way during any type of event. If you have GIS needs, certainly fill out a request, and we'll see who's available and what kind of expertise is available and get back to you, and hopefully be able to help you during high impactful weather, so that you can just focus on getting your and your partner's needs met at the time, and we can provide support in any way that you may need. So with that, I'm going to open it up for any final questions, final discussion. Otherwise, we will wrap up. I know we didn't want to take up too much of your time, and so we thank you so much for joining us today and for listening to our talk.
Yes, thanks again, Laurel and Matt. Great job. And thanks everyone for attending. That will be the end of this guest speaker series presentation. Thanks again.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.